Hello there. I'm just reading my iToddlers BTFO GitHub repo with all the greatest hits of iPhones and iPhone users getting blown out, and smug little anime girls just looking at them. So, yeah, not a big iPhone guy. Also, not a big Android guy either. Kind of meet in the middle. Also not going to buy $1,000 Purism Liberty phone. The camera that doesn't work well. Yeah. So, just going to look at all these. Oh, there's Satania. She's doing the dabbing on Apple. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to buy a Pixel. And it's because most custom ROMs want you to run a Pixel. We'll get to that, but first you're gonna get a Pixel 3a because it has that sweet headphone jack. You can get one for like 40 to 60 bucks. Probably don't want to get a 3a, maybe like a 4a, 60 to 80 bucks. Factory unlocked is the important part in this. 5a, you're looking into the hundreds, maybe like 120 to 160 or so with the factory unlock. Pixel 6a, you're looking into the 200s. Same deal, factory unlocked. And then factory unlocked 7a, that's, I don't know. We're too poor. We can't come up with $300. That's not going to happen. I'm going to have to sell a kidney for that. So, we're sticking with either the 4, the 5, or hopefully the 6. I don't know. You got to just do some couponing. So why are we using like Calyx or any of these like custom ROMs? So the Android open source project, it's kind of controlled by Google for the most part, and so you have all these custom distributions. People call them custom ROMs, but yeah, these little custom Android distributions either take out parts that Google leaves in or add little extra security features. One good thing about Calyx is it takes Google Play services and it has micro-G, and micro-G is like a little dummy account. It acts like you have Google Play services without actually having it, and it tricks them. They're not going to know the wiser. It's kind of great. You could use GrapheneOS, which is a little bit more hardcore. They're like, no Google anything, but that's a little bit too hardcore. There's Lineage for if you don't have a Pixel, but not having a Pixel is kind of sad, so we're just gonna have a Pixel. And let's see, it's kind of, so the Android open source project, the AOSP, it's kind of like Chromium in that it sets like mobile standards, but also gives Google like a crazy amount of power over the market through their open project. Like Chromium has like a similar deal where you'll have like Brave and Bromite and these other like forks of Chromium that either like add features or take things away, that kind of thing. And it really is kind of like that embrace, extend, extinguish a little bit, especially with phones, because eventually you're going to run out of security updates or like general updates with a lot of these. You got to kind of like switch them out a little bit more than I'd like. So like the 3A, it's going to get its last updates in August 2024. Pixel 4A 5G is going to get its last ones in August 2025. And a good portion of these aren't even like security updates. They're just like general parts, like stuff that isn't like the binary blobs and all that. That's in parts of these phones, like in the modems and all that. You can get a newer Pixel if you want a little bit more time with it. You can get a Fairphone, but we're just using Calyx. We're just gonna get a Pixel 3a. Got a busted one over here. And just going to go through flashing it. And then after that, we're going to pimp our phone. We're going to get all the cool nerd stuff, all the stuff that's very unnecessary. Let's see. So first we got to do this whole thing with the build number. Got to hit that 7 times for developer options. Let's see, we got that. There we go. Now a developer, hit that 7 times. Then we're going to go into the developer options that we now have under the advanced system settings. We're going to allow USB debugging. Then we're going to head over to that OEM unlocking part. Same section. Gonna make sure that is that's turned on. After that, we're gonna get this into fast boot, and that is after. Let's see, I'm gonna go through and get 3 different files. So you get the Google USB driver, the device flasher, and the CalyxOS image. Just those 3 things. Throw them into like a folder together. Unzip the USB driver. Flasher's already unzipped. You can leave the image as is. Let's see. So at this point, we've got connected to the computer. We got it in the fast boot over here by holding down the volume button and plugging in the USB while it's powered off. We're gonna go through the menu options. Then we're gonna grab this USB driver thing here. Right click on the INF file here, and then just go straight to install. Yeah, we got dual curses over here. That's kind of weird. So let's see. Get that going. Then we're not going to verify anything. We're just going to go right to the device flasher.exe. Going to launch that. You get a few questions from the device here in a second. So hit enter. It's going to ask us to unlock the bootloader. Go through this whole thing. Does all this text stuff. It's beautiful. Go through and it's like, let's see, has us relock the bootloader over here, and that's important because you just don't want that to be open for some reason. I'm not sure of the technical details, but it's just like, don't do that. And I'm like, okay, I won't do that. So now that we have that open here, just gonna skip this this pin part. You should probably put a pin on your phone. This one's a little busted, so probably not gonna do that. Important thing right here though is just leaving Google Services compatibility on, just so we have it. That's gonna be that micro G thing. It's gonna come in clutch. We'll go past adding in these apps on here. Not going to restore anything. Then, important thing right here, I always put on 3-button navigation because it's sane. I don't know anyone who does like the gesture thing. So, cool. We'll start it up. Get going. And this is the fun part. So, get some nice apps on here. Got this ScreenCam going, and yeah, you can see right off the bat we got the live Earthbound wallpaper. Really like that part. And so we're gonna start off with F-Droid, which is already installed. But if you have a phone that isn't like a Calyx or Graphene, you can still get F-Droid and still download free and open source apps. So we're updating those repos, and then we're gonna get FFUpdater. That's gonna be important because we're gonna get Firefox on there. We're gonna get Brave. And you can hit the little plus button, just add them over, and it grabs them from the GitHub pages. Most importantly, though, Firefox Focus. It wipes all your history when you close out of it, so you know it's that browser. It's for focusing, right? It's important. Get Firefox Focus. And then Brave over here, it's like I appreciate that they have their own search engine, but I switch that to Google immediately every time I open up Brave for the first time. I go to settings, the search settings, and immediately change that over to Google. I'm not going to use Brave search. I will at some point, maybe. Then we get SMS Import Export. You're going to want to install this on both your old phone and this phone. This is going to be what you're going to use to export your SMS files from the old phone and import them on the new one. Just throws it into a nice little database file, and it's pretty nice. It sometimes messes with the MMS stuff, but you know, for the most part, it all comes in. It just might be in separate conversations, but I've had some good success with it. Plus, you know, backup of your all your text messages locally. And then we're gonna install go back here. We got this QKSMS here, and that's what I use instead of the default texting application on Graphene. Like, you can set your own like texting application. This is my go-to just because it's a little bit better than the default one. It is like searching. Would recommend you install it. Then we're grabbing Mozc for Android. Don't know if that's how it's supposed to be pronounced, but I just always call it Mozc. So first, you're going to want to get that normal QWERTY keyboard, unless you're a crazy person, or you've used those old Japanese cell phones, the flip phones. I always turn off the audio feedback part, because that's just annoying. And from here, what do we got? Oh yeah, I always throw it into incognito mode. I probably don't need to, but I just don't want extra personalization or anything extra like calling home or whatever with my keyboard. It's already bad enough it's like a Google thing. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. And after that, we're going to get AnkiDroid, start using that. But if you open up a browser, you'll notice going to want to switch the keyboard over. So you hit that on the bottom right corner is like a little keyboard looking thing here. If we hit that, it lets us choose the input method. I've always got mine set to Japanese. And you'll notice, yeah, that's just switching back to the full English only keyboard. But this Japanese one, you'll notice if you hit the either the or the A in the bottom left, that switches between Japanese input and English input. So that's what I mostly do. I don't use like the, you know, spelling correction or anything like that. Just switching back and forth. So, yep, then we're gonna get AnkiDroid. It's a lot of great like decks you can get for Anki. Mostly Japanese, but there's also just like random ones on here, like you get like American Sign Language. There's different stuff for like if you're in the medical field. All these different little flashcard decks. Totally recommend it. Another important thing here too, open camera. It's my girl's keyboard. Just because the camera app that comes with Calyx sucks, you're gonna want to switch that to open camera right away. Like, don't even hesitate. And I will say, one thing about these custom ROMs is you lose a lot of the software for the camera, so it's not gonna look as good as if you have like the stock image on there. But I personally don't care. If I want a good picture, I'll just take one with a dedicated camera. Then we got Tachiyomi J2K. Keep on wanting to call it Y2J, but it's not Y2J. It's J2K. It's like a fork of Tachiyomi. So you can read manga on it. So you're gonna want to go over to extensions. I've already got manga decks on here. Got a lot of other great ones. I can't imagine what 999 hentai is. Man, if that's what you got on your phone, that's what you got. But yeah, we're gonna hit these three dots in the top right here. Go to settings. Then immediately go over to general. And we're just gonna make sure we have it set to auto update over any network. So whether it's your Wi-Fi, this app's a little bit different. You're gonna want to install it from their. You'll hit download. You go to their GitHub page, and then they'll have releases. You're gonna want to grab this one right here. With it's just Tachiyomi J2K. And then the version.apk. This one's like self-updating, so it doesn't really need F-Droid. And it's actually discouraged to do this through F-Droid. There's a couple of other tweaks on here because, everyone has their own way of reading. But I still think continuous vertical on there, on the default reading mode, that's my go-to. If we go down here a little bit, there's a few other minor changes here too. Gonna make sure we have, landscape is the default orientation, so it's gonna be sideways. And then I always like turn off the show page number. That part's just kind of annoying to me. Have it full screen. And then part's important too. The scale type I set to fit width, so that way it's like sideways, it's just like fitting the page onto it. Smart Fit does like a similar thing, but I just do the fit width. Let's see, so this is us just reading a little bit on here. On the phone it's like sideways, but the recording just kind of has it like this. But yeah, really great if you're looking to keep up on the latest and greatest. Then we got NewPipe, which I mentioned in a previous video. I use it for all of my YouTube stuff. So I'm just going over to this link here, where it says this link, and copying this link with the copy link address from that page. Then we're gonna go over to the actual application. F-Droid. I'm gonna go over to settings. There's this repository section. We're pasting in this new repo for NewPipe. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up afterwards, but first we're gonna go ahead and just go ahead and just do the search, because this is how it should look by Team NewPipe. It's been a good minute since they had an update, but it still works. Let's see. So, a couple things you're going to want to do once you have NewPipe actually open. Want to go to settings. Then we're going to go ahead and change the default resolution from audio and video over to 360p. That's just kind of my preference. I don't really need anything fancy. Definitely make sure to have show age restricted content under the content section turned on. Then I always go over to content of the main page, have the what's new on like the top here, have my subscriptions over here, just so I'm not getting to a recommends page. I'm not a big fan of getting recommended stuff. I just want to see what I'm subbed to. And then you also got this import database, export database thing going on, where you can just like export a full database of your watch history, your subs, everything else there. It's like YouTube without actually having an account for it, so I'd recommend it. Then we got TIC80, which I've had a lot of fun with. It's this little fantasy game console thing going on. Let me make sure it comes up here. There we go. So, yeah, we're going over to it. So I'll bring up the little keyboard. We can type in. Oh yeah, you can hit the escape key or the back key to look at the code. You can edit the sprites for any game. So if you type in help, it has this nice little help system. So you can type in the word help, it brings up this. Type in help plus there's words on this list on here, like API. Brings up everything in the API, so you can type in help, and then you can list one of these from the API, the im set. It gives you all the arguments for it. Just really helpful all together. It's good if you have an external keyboard too. A little bit better sideways. And then we're gonna type in surf, and surf is gonna bring up this thing here. And from surf, you're able to actually like download games. You can actually upload your own games on here too. And then if we hit the back button in the bottom left of the device on there, the hardware back button, that's gonna give us this nice little pause menu. You hit close game, and then if we were to hit escape or the back button, it brings us up to the game's code. So any of these games that you download on here, you can study the code, you can look at their sprites, you can look at a tracker with their music. It's just really fun to just kind of poke through these things with your curiosity. Like, you know, you can see full levels on there, and it's just a whole lot of fun, honestly. Like, there's a desktop version too. At some point I'm gonna make videos on it, but it's just one of those little hidden gems. It's kind of like Pico 8. There's also this nice little awesome TIC80s page. Has a lot of good resources. But yeah, this one you definitely want to install through just their site directly. I think their F-Droid link or their F-Droid page is a little bit out of date. So just go over here, get the APK, and just install it manually. Then after that we got Termux. It's a little bit more boring. I don't know, it's okay. I'm gonna type in pkg space install. I'm actually gonna switch over to the Western keyboard for this one. It's a little bit slow on our Japanese keyboard. But yeah, pkg install vim. It's going to give us Vim, the extensible text editor everyone likes to use. And so we can launch that over here. Takes a minute. It's going to tell us it's already installed. Termux is good. I mean, I guess if you want to like SSH into something and make some like changes to a config, that'd be nice. But yeah, you can just type in Vim. You do your little :Q to quit. Then you can throw in like a Vim tutor. It's a really good command. That's going to bring up a little Vim tutor. And you can follow along with it just by pressing down on like the J key. Brings you down. K goes right. H goes up. G goes left. And it's that kind of deal. And then again, :Q will get you out of it, and you can just type exit to exit Termux. So that's pretty handy. I just don't really have a good use case for it. ScreenCam, that's why I'm using to record this, better than the built-in screen recorder. Abstract art, that's where we're gonna get all these sweet like Earthbound enemies showing up. So anytime you like lock the phone screen or you change apps on there, it shows like a different enemy from Earthbound. It's the coolest thing to me. It still is. So get that part. Sometimes you gotta set it on here twice. Sometimes you gotta restart your phone for it to work. but it's set up as a live wallpaper. So you just go into like settings, wallpaper, and then just set it as a default there. It gets a little creepy. I'll give it that. But for the most part, a lot of my proprietary apps, all those are going to be from the Aurora store, which is like a Foss version of Google Play. And this is where that micro G thing comes in handy. Like, I've got a lot of proprietary stuff I still got to use, or don't have to, but I'd like to. So 3 lines in the top left, you can get over to Spoof Manager. This one you can switch. It's really only if you're having trouble downloading an app. You may want to switch the spoofing, and then from this accounts thing right here, you can go through and sign out of our anonymous account. Then afterwards, let us sign right back into a make sure this goes. Yep, sign right back into a new anonymous account, and then you should be able to download whatever you need to get. Like, there's a little bit of like troubleshooting with Aurora store, but I've always had a good experience with it. So first, I'm just gonna get this music folder player, which it has this whole little battery optimization thing. It wants us to turn off for it. So we do that. Gonna open it up, and it just lets you select things from folders, which is nice. Like, you can play a whole folder of every Oricon Top 100 song from 1970. And I do this with a lot of like Oricon stuff, which is a lot like the Billboard Top 100 for America, but just for Japan. And one of these days I want to go through all of these in karaoke, but for now I've settled just to just for listening to them all. But one of these days I'll get them all. Yeah, it does have ads. I'm not gonna pay for it. It's been like almost a decade. I'm not gonna pay for it. It's not happening. But do recommend to listening to every Oricon song, all the top 100 from 1997. Probably one of the best years. Even has your Evangelion song in there. Yeah, we got this this GGPO thing, which is like Fightcade, but for Android. It's awesome. Like, rollback netcode on the phone. I don't think anyone asked for that. So, like, all you gotta do, there's this ROMs JSON URL. You gotta get that URL. I can't give it to you. Someone will give it to you. Once you got it, any of these things, you click on them, they'll automatically download. And you can start playing like King of Fighters or Metal Slug or Gunstar Heroes. You can play them by yourself too. Like, you hit the little play button in the top right. You can just throw in your little coin, your start. Would recommend this with like an external controller, but that's fine with the touch commands. But yeah, you can challenge other users. You can message like a little challenge and like get in the chat with them. Yeah, a lot of people seem to have fun with this one. So, got radio. I've been using A's radio for a while. I could just not use the dedicated app. I don't know. It's a habit at this point. I've got other internet radio things that I don't listen to on a dedicated app, so I don't know. They've been around for forever. They're really solid. I'd check them out if you want some good internet radio. Then ColorNote. This one's okay. I can't stop using it. It's a quick note program. Super proprietary. I'm still gonna use it. Also Google Maps. I wind up installing Google Maps on my de-Googled phone. I mean, it kind of defeats the purpose, but I don't know. I still like it. It's reliable. Yeah, I switch off the permissions when I can, but same with TouchTunes. Can't stop going to bars and playing stuff from TouchTunes, paying money for it. You know, if you play that 12th Dinosaur Jr. song, people might respect you. Similar thing with like Microsoft OneNote. It's kind of the reason I'm stuck on Windows a little bit. I'm a little bit weird about like not using the desktop application. It's the whole thing. So yeah, that's our cool phone. We could get a Pinephone instead if you're feeling it. You know, you want that Linux phone. We got our Android phone, our iOS phone, and our Pinephone. Now this one, again, we could go a little bit crazy over here. We could go and be like, oh, you know what? I need that Librem $2,000 Liberty phone. Get this. Runs on the same software. Like, has megapixels and everything. Like, it's so weird. But yeah, just buy a cheap Pinephone. And then PostmarketOS, I'd recommend them. They're really solid maintainers. It's all like Alpine based. You use like APK and stuff as a package manager. Which I always thought that was an ironic like package manager name. Like, yeah, you can't install APKs on this, but you use APK the package manager. That's what it's named. So, but yeah, you can get like GNOME Mobile, Foss, Plasma. Would not recommend XSMO for most people. It's like a minimalist phone environment, but they're getting better. And yeah, the original Pinephone, you can actually flash the modem with custom firmware. Because normally these modems are like untrustable black boxes, and they've managed to kind of work around that with this Qualcomm modem they got here. It's a lot more powerful. Like, it can run a lot of stuff in software that just wouldn't have been possible on the original Pinephone. Like, it's pretty decent. And I don't know, I just like following the development every so often. Like, these guys put a lot of time, their own personal time, into these passion projects. Like, there's literally like one person spearheading like getting the camera to work well. That's crazy. And I appreciate all the work they put into it. Same with Megi, with like the kernel and all that stuff. I do a lot of cool stuff, but I don't know. I just like following up on development every so often, because there was one thing I don't like. It's just these dates on here. Like, Pinephones don't have these little expiration dates with security. Well, they may have like little security holes, but apparently no one cares enough to exploit them regularly. I'm just rambling. I'm just want a third kind of phone. Maybe I want a Windows phone. Yeah, that's what I really want. I don't know. Have fun with your phone. Looks like we got ourselves a rare edit. So yeah, missed out on going over to the settings app and going to sound and vibration. And let's head over there. And from sound and vibration, we're just going to scroll all the way down here. You can turn off the default notification sound. I wouldn't recommend it unless you want to only answer like phone calls instead of text. I also turn off dial pad tones, screen locking sound, and touch sounds especially. Like, touch sounds are the most annoying thing. Charging sounds, they're not too bad, but turn that off too. And so, go from these settings over here. I'm gonna head over to the display. I always turn off adaptive brightness. Never seems to work out for me. And also want to turn off the screen lockout time. Usually have that part set to like not like 15 seconds or 30 seconds. Like 10 minutes should be good. And yeah, you can also make the text bigger or smaller from this part here too. I usually leave it as is, but yeah, another big one, auto rotate screen. Always have that one turned off on my end. It just never really works out well. Then yeah, head over to accessibility. This color and motion part, doing the remove animations part makes like a whole world of difference for me. Like, I can't do this with the animations. This looks like crap. So, because of the squishiness and all that. So, always go into accessibility, color and motion, and remove animations. And yeah, that should be it.